Stitchless TV, we are going to take a regular but slightly frumpy swimming costume and turn it into a two-piece costume with a gorgeous peplum. What we need today is a regular swimming costume. I got mine from M&S and it was something like £26. We need an extra bit of stretchy swimming costume fabric, and we need some pleated fabric. But if you can't get pleated fabric, just get some fabric that's in the same colour as the costume, because we can gather it. And of course we need a sewing machine. I've got my mini JL sewing machine, pair of big chunky scissors, and today we need some kiddies chalk. Now, ordinarily you'd have to try on your swimming costume, but there is no way you are going to see me in a costume. So I'm just going to have to guesstimate it. Is that a word? Guesstimate, yes. So come and have a look. You get your kiddies chalk. Now, we want it long in the top half. So we need to save as much of the top half as possible, but we still need some for the bikini bit at the bottom. So I'm just going to mark it there and mark it there, because I did this for my sister Shaz, who's feeling a bit large after Christmas, and she's gone to India for 5 weeks, and she's going to be on a beach with all these beautiful models because it's a yoga retreat. Right, it's that moment of cutting into a ready-made garment. You do actually have to be a bit brave. Just take a deep breath and go for it. So I'm going to make my first cut here. So be careful when you cut it, because these swimming costumes, they have lots of layers built up. So make sure that you're going through the right layers. Now, when I do the back, I'm going to turn it over. So I'll turn it over for the back. So look, two-piece, but you can't leave it like that, because if you leave it like that, then it will just be falling apart and stuff. So we've got to finish it off. So the first thing that we need to do is we've got to locate our centre front and centre back on the top and on the bottom. So I'm going to do that now by folding the upper half and putting a little notch at the front and at the back. And then I may as well do the bottoms now as well while I'm doing notches. So I'm going to fold that as well, but we're not doing the bottoms at the moment. So I'm going to put those to one side. You need to measure the bottom of your swimming top. Now mine's 37, let's just call it 40, okay? And that's going to be double because there's a front and a back. So that's 80. So you take that measurement and you transfer it to some pleated fabric. So I'm going to fold over my pleated fabric so that that's going to be my frill, and then that will be the hem. So we've got to find the side and the centre front and the centre back on that strip. So that strip now, it's folded over. So I'm going to put a little notch, which is going to signify one of the side seams there. And then I'm going to fold it over carefully without stretching things out to work out the centre front and the centre back. We're now going to attach our pleated peplum onto our swimming costume top. And the way that we do that is we've got our fabric folded with right sides on the outside, because that's going to be the hem. And I'm going to line up my notch, which is supposed to be my centre notch, which is somewhere there, there it is. Right sides together with the swimming costume front. So that's the swimming costume front. But I'm going to start not at the side seam, just a little bit away from the side seam. So I'm going to start there. I'm going to take it to the sewing machine. And everything is done using my largest zigzag, which on my sewing machine is F. Right, you ready? We're going to start now. This is very, very important. We're using a large zigzag. We're using the width of the sewing foot is going to be on the edge of the material. we're lining up our front notch with our front notch on our pleated peplum, and it's quite a tricky thing to do, but you will be all right. Make sure everything is lined up, and you're going to stretch the swimming costume until it fits the pleats. So I'm stretching underneath and squashing the pleats through. So stretching underneath and squashing the pleats through, and keep doing that all the way round. As long as you work between your notches and line up all your notches, you really can't go wrong, okay? And even if it ends up being longer, it doesn't matter, you can always lob it off at the end. So now I'm coming to the side seam. I'm matching up the notch that was on the peplum that was supposed to match up with the side seam. I'm stretching the bottom and squashing the pleats through. Now the reason why you have to stretch that swimming costume, and the reason why you have to use a zigzag stitch, is so that when you put it on and you stretch your costume, the threads don't break. Now when you are about 3 centimeters away from the side seam, I want you to stop. Okay, so we're going to stop there, cut the threads. So we've only gone as far as there, and the reason why we've done that is because this is a really good, easy way of finishing off. So what we've got to do is we've got to find out how much we actually need, which is about to there, and then I'm going to lay them over and I'm going to cut them to size, allowing a centimetre seam allowance, because what we need to do, we've got to bag them out. We're going to open up that peplum, and we've got our fabrics right sides together there, right sides together, and we're going to sew down and then sew down so it goes up the other side. So I'll do that now, and then you'll see what I mean when it's done. Oops, whoops, you see, look, I make mistakes sometimes. It's not an F. You've got to use a straight stitch now. And you're going to stitch in the well of the pleats. So all we're doing is just joining those two ends together. I know you've got no idea what's going on, but really you will in a minute. So I've stitched those two pieces together and I've done it inside. So I've got the fabric right sides together because, look, it's because I wanted them to be neatly joined together, you see. So now all I need to do is finishing off zigzag, just that little hole there. So back to zigzag, which is F on my mini JL machine. Stretching as I sew, but squashing those pleats underneath the foot. Can you believe it? I think it really looks like some sort of Dolce Gabbana top. Look at that. Now what you do need to remember is you need to go around again, trim it back and zigzag those edges. And now for the bottoms. So again we need notches. So I've got my fabric that's going to become the kind of waistband on the bikini bottoms or swimming costume bottoms. And I'm going to fold it right sides together. Now the way that I found out how long to do it is I put it around my hips and I want a little bit left like that I can tie into a knot at the side. Now remember, for your notches, centre back isn't necessarily going to be in the centre of your strip. So just put your swimming costume on top of that strip and bring one side round at the front. Now the tie, I'm going to have my tie so it finishes about there, I'd say. So I'm going to put a little notch there like that. So I've got my strip right sides together and I'm just going to sew across here and down there with a centimetre seam allowance and stop at the notch. And I'm sewing it with right sides together because I'm then going to bag it out. So do that with a straight stitch on the sewing machine. So I'm going to turn it to D because that's my straight stitch on the mini JL that I like, and centimetre seam allowance. Backwards and forwards to begin with. So I've done that now with a centimetre seam allowance, and I'm just going to turn it the right way round. Look, be a good idea to mitre some of those edges. So I turn it the right way round because it's going to become my tie. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking you can't tie with just one tie, but we do the other tie at the end. Now we just, first of all, we just need to put a little snip on the inside, just where our seam finished, because I need this to be able to come out so I can grab it. I need to be able to grab that bit there for sewing. So I'm going to put this right sides together now with those raw edges touching that little side seam there, and that's where we're going to begin using a zigzag stitch going all the way round. So I'll do that now. I've got to turn it to F for zigzag. Now, particularly for your bum, or for my bum anyway, I need a lot of stretch to get over it. As I go, I'm folding it together. Can you see that? Making sure that my edges are lined up with the edge of the bikini bottom, so they're all together there. Look, sometimes they'll slip, it's a bit annoying, and I'm really stretching it as I sew. So because our band is longer than we actually need, we're just going to keep stretching everything and work our way all the way round until we're about 4 centimetres away from where we started. So this is what we've got so far. So we've got one tie that stopped there and it's been bagged out and finished. Now the reason why I didn't do them both at the same time is because I don't know how long I want it, how long it's going to be by the time I've stretched it round. So I take this to where I think it's going to be finished and put a little notch there. I'm going to make this tie the length that I want it to be. I'm quite happy with it being longer actually than the other one, so that's fine. Now, important, I've got to turn it, put it right sides together. So it's right sides together now, matching up the notches. So now we're working on this tie, going down there and across there, and then we'll turn it the right way round. So don't forget to put it to straight stitch. I'm using D on the mini JL. So I've got it on straight stitch and off we go. Backwards and forwards to begin with, and then straight all the way down with a centimetre seam allowance. Before I turn it the right way round this time, I'm going to do that snip. So look, we've done all of that. So now we're going to put a big snip there, and then I'm going to turn it the right way round. So let's do that now. Oh, I didn't mitre my corner. Mitre your corner so you get a nice point. And then turn it the right way round. Push out your corners. Now all that we need to do is, just stitch that all the way to meet up with our first tie. So I'm going to turn it over using a zigzag, and I'm just going to stitch that last little bit using zigzag. But I'm trusting you, okay, to go around and gain and finish off the edges with a zigzag, okay, because we use zigzag for the seam so that it stretches. So you've got to go in and zigzag those edges. But have a look at this, okay. So we just tie those in a lovely little knot on the side. Can you believe it? That is great. Now I am no way never trying this on for you, but my dummy mate over here is going to try it on. So I'm going to try it on the dummy so you can have a really good look at it. Really good. Look at that. I'm telling you, it's totally Dolce & Gabbana. Can you see? And I did actually put this top on with a pair of my high-waisted leggings. I've got a high-waisted legging video in black, and I looked like I had a catsuit on. Look at the bottoms. The bottoms are really flattering too. So all of that for £29.50, I think is